This morning, I spoke with Luke Baumgartner from George Washington University about his thoughts on what we saw. He is a researcher in their program on extremism. Luke Baumgartner, thank you so much for being with us this morning. You've done extensive research on extremism and white supremacy. What do you know about the group Patriot Front, their motives, and how they operate?
So up front, Patriot Front is a white nationalist and white supremacist group that's been around for nearly a decade now. They sprung out of a splinter group from another group called Vanguard America that was present at the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. And it was taken over by one of their members through a hostile takeover. Since then, they've grown significantly in popularity and in size. And their message to America is that it is for whites only. That means nobody of color, no LGBTQ, anybody else that doesn't subscribe to that sort of ideology. And their slogans and their iconography really conveys as much.
What do you think are the solutions to tackling this rise in extremism and hateful rhetoric and anti-people of color and things like that? How can people be tackling this issue?
A lot of it comes down to social media regulation and enforcement of rules. Unfortunately, a lot of social media platforms don't take that as seriously anymore. So the burden falls on civil society and nonprofit groups to help alleviate some of those issues. And unfortunately, those are under attack right now.
And we've seen chilling and disturbing pictures online of groups of these masked white supremacists yesterday surrounding people of color on metro trains. What should someone do if they find themselves in a situation like that? Should they say something, not say something, call police? What are their options?
So Patriot Front typically likes to avoid violent confrontations like that so as to not draw undue law enforcement scrutiny to them and their activities. But sometimes they will resort to acts of violence when it comes to counter-protesters. If you are, a random passerby and happen to be in their vicinity, I would recommend that you don't engage unless you are, within earshot of, law enforcement or authorities, or have somebody else with you, and have a plan to leave the premise if you need to. But otherwise, the best course of action is to not engage with these folks.
And what kind of message do you think they were hoping to send yesterday by marching on July 4th, America's 250th birthday celebration? And what do you think they were hoping to achieve by doing this?
So their message to America, especially on the 4th of July, is to reinforce the idea that America was founded as a whites-only nation. That is their goal. That's what they hope to achieve in the end. That is their end state. They don't have any real power to achieve that, but as long as they can spread their message to those who might be receptive to it, whether it's folks in power or anybody on the street or anybody on social media who happens to see some of their propaganda or the content that they produce from these events like this, that's their main goal, is publicity, and that's what a lot of extremist groups go for.